The storm outside this bunker, Wider Stands Nest 32 at Saint-Honorat-de-Perthes, has been a relentless presence since dusk, a true Atlantic beast clawing at the concrete and steel, each gust a mournful wail that seems to vibrate through the very marrow of my bones. Rain, like shrapnel, lashes the observation slit and the heavy armoured door, creating a furious, ceaseless drumming that almost drowns out the distant, thunderous crash of waves against the cliffs below. A constant reminder of the immense, untamed power of the ocean just beyond our thick walls. It's a midnight torment, an oppressive symphony of wind and water, sealing us within this damp, echoing tomb, a world away from the relative quiet of a farmstead in the Rhineland, a world away from everything I once knew. My fingers, stiff with a cold that penetrates even this enclosed space, trace the cold metal casing of the Telefunken E52B Köln receiver, its internal valves glowing a soft, warm orange in the dim light, a tiny beacon in the gloom. The crackle and hiss of static fills the air, a white noise that has become as familiar as the beat of my own heart, punctuated by the occasional distorted German voice, or the rapid-fire Morse code of a distant U-boat, or perhaps a coastal battery reporting a phantom shadow on the horizon. I've adjusted the tuning knob so many times tonight, chasing weak signals, filtering out the atmospheric interference, my ears straining for any deviation in the monotonous rhythm of the radio, for the one message that will shatter this uneasy quiet and announce that Der Tag has finally arrived, that the long vigil is at an end. It's June 1944, and the air, even inside this thick-walled casemate, is heavy with a suffocating anticipation that weighs on every man, a palpable dread that coats the tongue like stale dust. Every rustle of the wind sounds like an approaching engine, every distant peal of thunder like the first salvo of an unseen naval bombardment, and every faint flicker of lightning on the horizon sends a jolt through my chest, making me grip the worn stock of my car 98K that leans against the wall nearby. We've been living like this for months, years even, the constant readiness eroding the edges of sanity, blurring the lines between waking and a nightmare, each day a carbon copy of the last, defined only by the ceaseless watch and the silent question, when will they come? The dampness here is pervasive, a cold, clinging presence that has seeped into the very fabric of my uniform, a constant reminder of the subterranean existence we've carved out for ourselves, far from the sun and the smell of fresh earth. The air carries the faint scent of stale cigarette smoke, damp concrete, and unwashed bodies, a smell that has become indistinguishable from the bunker itself, a smell of confinement and waiting. My breath mists in the frigid air as I shift, trying to find a comfortable position on the wooden stool. Its hard surface long ago ceased to offer any real respite, just another dull ache to add to the others. I think of home sometimes, of the small timbered house nestled amongst the rolling hills of Bavaria, the warmth of the wood stove in winter, the scent of fresh-baked bread carried on the morning breeze, a world so utterly divorced from this present reality that it feels like a dream. Here, the world is concrete and steel, the incessant rumble of the storm, the static whisper of the radio, and the ever-present threat of a violent, chaotic invasion. It is a stark contrast, a chasm between memory and present, one that grows wider with each passing hour, with each passing storm that lashes against this coastal fortress, reinforcing our isolation. The flicker of the single bulb hanging from the ceiling casts long, dancing shadows, distorting the familiar shapes of the equipment around me. The heavy field telephone, the stacked ammunition crates, the gas mask canister with its worn straps. Each shadow seems to stretch and contort, mirroring the anxious twists of my own mind, playing tricks on the eyes, making me imagine movement where there is none, an enemy lurking just beyond the periphery of my vision. It is a lonely watch, this one, especially when the weather outside rages with such unchecked fury, amplifying the sense of being utterly alone in a vast, indifferent world. A small, insignificant speck in a maelstrom of metal and madness. Just days ago, a courier brought news of increased Allied air activity, of reconnaissance flights growing bolder, their silver wings glinting high above the cloud cover, probing our defences with impunity. The messages on the radio, speaking coded whispers of troop movements across the channel, of naval concentrations, of an inevitability that hangs over our heads like the sword of Damocles. We have drilled for this moment countless times, practiced our responses until they are etched into our muscle memory. But the reality of it, the sheer magnitude of what is to come, still feels like a distant, abstract concept, a story whispered by old men, not an impending catastrophe bearing down upon us. My eyes, heavy with exhaustion, dart to the small porthole, secured with thick, reinforced glass, offering a blurred, distorted view of the chaos outside. Flashes of lightning illuminate the churning grey-black sea for an instant, revealing white-capped waves like monstrous, grasping claws, reaching for the land, eager to devour it. The storm is a fitting curtain for the drama that is about to unfold, a natural screen of tempestuous fury, masking the movements of vast fleets and armies, hiding the true intentions of those who mean to break our resolve and breach this formidable Atlantic wall. It is a strange alliance, the weather and the enemy, conspiring against our lonely vigil. I reach for the chipped enamel mug, its contents long since gone cold, a bitter taste of ersatz coffee clinging to the bottom. The warmth of a hot drink, a simple luxury, feels like a distant memory, much like the comfort of a soft bed, or the quiet hum of a peaceful town square. Here, comfort is merely the absence of immediate pain, the knowledge that for now, the bunker holds, the radio still hums, and the enemy remains unseen, held at bay by the impenetrable darkness and the raging tempest. This is our reality, stark and unyielding, a testament to endurance, a monument to the endless waiting. The steady static on the receiver is a heartbeat in the silence, a constant companion that prevents true solitude, yet emphasizes the vast distance between myself and the voices it carries. Sometimes, late at night, when the storm winds die down to a mournful sigh, I imagine other funkers in their own bunkers, stretching across this immense coast, from the chill of Norway to the warmth of Biscay, all listening, all waiting, all connected by this fragile web of signals. We are the ears of the Reich, the first to hear the whisper of the tide turning, and the last to abandon our post. The storm, for all its ferocity, begins to show a subtle hint of waning, the peals of thunder moving further out to sea, the driving rain softening to a persistent shower. But the wind still howls, and the waves still crash, an enduring testament to the vastness of the Atlantic and the smallness of man. I adjust my Stahlhelm M42 on the hook, its weight a familiar comfort, a silent promise of protection, however futile that promise might ultimately prove to be. The hours creep by, each second a leaden weight, each minute an eternity. My watch is far from over. The vigil continues, a timeless dance between man and machine, between anticipation and dread. I am merely a node in this intricate network, a single flickering light in the vast darkness, a pair of ears straining against the roar of the ocean and the static of the ether, waiting for the signal that will change everything. The weight of it all, the sheer burden of knowing, rests heavily on these weary shoulders. Yet I must remain alert, ever vigilant, for the fate of this small segment of the Atlantic Wall, perhaps even a sliver of the Reich itself, rests in the messages that pass through these cold metal boxes. I shift my gaze back to the glowing valves of the Telefunken, the heart of my lonely station. The storm outside may rage, the ocean may churn with untold fury, but within these concrete walls, the faint hum of the receiver persists, a testament to our steadfastness, a lifeline across the vast, tumultuous expanse. My duty is simple: to listen, to report, to endure. And so, I listen.